Hello, my little starlings. How are you? How is everything? Sound good? Everything performing well? I've got a bit of a different setup today. This has been kind of a blessing. Sound is good? Okay, good. I'll ask you again once I switch over to the game, because today we're playing a game that's actually on my PC, because I think some visual novels are low enough CPU usage for me that I can actually run them. But we're gonna find out. We might have PNG feeling, we'll see. But I'm very excited to finally play this game with you guys. I love this game. But this is a blessing, you say. I guess you've been looking forward to something super cozy and chill as well. I definitely feel that myself. I've been working really hard this week. And I definitely just need a cozy, cute little dating sim. And for me, this is very much gonna be a throwback. Computer might hold on. Yeah. We'll see. Looking forward to it, just putting it lightly. Having needed it would suit it better. Oh no, did you have a bad week? How am I doing? Well, Felipe, I'm doing pretty good, to be honest. Yesterday, I think yesterday, right? Yeah. Yesterday was the summer solstice, which is something that I celebrate. So I spent a little bit of time outside, although it was pretty gloomy. But I spent some time outside and I had lots of yummy food. I made some bread. I'm still working through the bread. It's very good. So that was peaceful, but otherwise I've been working really hard doing like planning for the next few months is kind of what I'm up to at this point. And it's so much brain power. I could go into some details or I could keep it light, whichever you prefer. Has to do with my prom though. Oh no! That sounds like a heartache. Oh. I'll leave that up to you how much you want to share, but just do remember that first of all, these VODs stay up so anybody can see it. And also obviously don't go into anything triggering. But we can also just go into a cozy dating sim. This game is very, very cathartic. So if you're in need of some catharsis, some comfort, a little bit of shared suffering, then you're definitely in the right place. Wait a minute, didn't you mention your prom in the first Zelda stream? That does sound familiar, although at least when I was in high school, and I don't know how they do it over in Europe, but when I went to high school, it was that juniors and seniors, which is the last two levels of high school, both could go to the prom, so it could be that, Yoshi has multiple. Comfort is very much appreciated right now. I've not gotten good sleep in a while. Oh no! Aw. Well, I mean, I have a whole backlog of videos to help you sleep. I've got some coffee with me, which does not help you sleep, but it keeps me awake. Which will be... Whoa, sorry, bumped you there. Which will be good for, keeping this stream interesting. This game, I'm gonna switch us over, even if we don't start playing, I'm gonna switch us over so you guys can hear the music, because it's very pretty. There we go. And let me know if the game music is too loud. It was really loud on my end. I had to lower it over here. Well, starting with the good part, I did have a dream come true and was able to bring my childhood friend along, which the moment she accepted the invite, I was the happiest person on earth. Knowing that this is going to be a sad story makes me so worried. Couldn't contain my excitement at all, I bet. That is exciting. That's very exciting. Let me know how the sound is with our sort of piano music here. This game came out, I think, 2012, maybe? It's an entirely free game. I have the link down in the video description, actually. Like, I just downloaded it like a couple hours ago and got it back on this computer. Sounds actually pretty relaxing. Good, good. This was my comfort game for a while. Yoshi says, first half went great. I held my speeches, held the comedy segment. Oh! Overall, it was a great night. Some light drinking, but not too hard. Oh, that's right. You've got very different cultural customs. See, when you say prom, me as an American, I'm thinking, like, 17-year-olds. Which, okay, to be fair, a lot of them do get drunk before prom. But I can't advise doing that. That's inappropriate. So I guess you'll have to tell me if that was above board or not. Yeah, no, this game came out, I think 2012-ish. I have been thinking about it ever since I first played it. Like, it has just lived with me ever since then. Then came the second half where teachers and parents left and the real drinking started. Yeah, that's how it goes. The prom after party is... I've heard stories. We got pretty drunk. I've heard all kinds of things. I don't know if it was at my prom or if it was just a story I heard of like a former prom at my school, but there was one where like they found like girls' underwear on the dance floor, which obviously means that somebody lost their underwear in the middle of prom. You can imagine how scandalous that was. Doesn't matter where you're from, teens will get drunk at prom. Yeah, you're right. You're very right. I thought about it afterwards and I was like, well, actually, it's prom and it's teenagers. Yeah, no, it was a scandal. It was a scandal. I was a bit too well behaved for that sort of nonsense. And speaking of culture, for it being in Germany, the party was over half of the attendees being of Turkish origin, which is where I have to kind of consider my words now not to sound too bad. Uh-oh. You better be nice. And then Yoshi Felipe's on the edge of his seat. Hi, Moon Laurel! How are ya? We're all just chatting and catching up while we listen to the very nice soundtrack to this game. It's a totally free game, as I was saying, and the link is down in the description if anyone wants to play it. It came out like 10 years ago, but I still think about it all the time, and so I'm gonna share it with you guys. I will say a few things. First of all, if you do decide to play it, this game has adult content. I have disabled it for the stream, but there are barely censored scenes at certain points in this game if you decide to play it for yourself. Just be aware. Just cut off 3 houses. Ooh, I wish that were me. All I want to ever do is play 3 houses. But to sum up the consequences of what happened, my childhood friend lost 3 years of therapy, and I lost 8 years of working up tolerance after having an incident myself. Oh no! I couldn't sleep at all for the last few nights due to feelings of immense guilt. Oh no! I'm so sorry, bud. That's rough. I feel like... I mean, this isn't super comforting, but I feel like big social nights, big social events like prom, or sometimes even like weddings, they have the opportunity to be this big thing, but everybody hypes them so much that there's a lot of pressure on them, you know? And I feel like that tends to breed chaos. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't think you're alone in that experience. Is this like a Doki Doki game or is it normal? No, it's normal. It's a normal game. This is the very first dating sim, like proper dating sim I ever played, I think. And it's like a proper dating sim. There is a bad end, at least one. And I got it before I knew what bad ends were and I was traumatized. But as far as like, now that I know more about dating sims, it's a pretty standard bad end. And then, yeah, it's just romance. It is emotional, definitely. It's a lot, there's a lot of focus on emotionally connecting to the characters. Sayori PTSD, don't worry. No, it's not gonna be like that, not at all. Seeing as if I have to keep out of trigger territory, all I can say is that luckily what happened that night is not common. Oh no, not Sayori, don't remind me. Alright, before everybody panics, why don't we just start the game and everybody can be not terrified. It's not a Doki Doki type game. I will say, if you have issues dealing with any kind of like medical thing, like if like medical emergencies freak you out, probably not the stream for you. It's not like anything gory, but there's an emergency that happens pretty early on in the game. That's kind of how we get introduced to the concept of the game. So just be aware of that. I don't remember how intense anything in this game was. I also don't remember if any of the like disability representation would still hold water today. I remember it being it felt very respectful when I played it years ago, but obviously culturally we have all become more educated, so I don't know how well it handles. I think it's probably good. We're gonna find out. Don't forget Yuri. Oh god. Let's get away from that immediately. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. Dipping in and out of stream because I'll be cleaning. Alright, well, have fun! But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. Hi, Alexander! I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white-painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hisao? You came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. He's so cute. I know he's got like main character character design, but he's a cutie. Iwanako? I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic.
Yes. I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it.
A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle, even if I tried. My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out of my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gusts of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her finger. We're just gonna ignore her wearing a skirt in the snow. I bet that's why she flinched. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried.
You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me.
I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point.
Isao?
I reach up to try and massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms.
Isao?
My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror.
Isao!
The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all these fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clatter of the branches above. I promise it'll get lighter after this. It has a pretty dark opening, but it is very chill still somehow. Isn't the coma twist supposed to be revealed at the end instead of the beginning? Don't worry. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts. So I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. 4 months, yep. 4 months. This is very interesting for me. I have a very, very minor heart condition, like it's not a big deal at all. But it's very interesting because last time I played this, I didn't know that, and now I do. So it's really interesting to see the other side of it now. 4 months would be brutal, yeah. I would go crazy. Arrhythmia. My hyperactive brain could never. I think you would just like watch streams all day, right? A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. I'm gonna guess, I'm not a doctor, I'm gonna guess probably he's got some kind of like Wolf Parkinson's or something. Because what I have is technically an arrhythmia as well, and it is not like this. But arrhythmia is a very wide range of issues. Like my heart condition is that sometimes my heart will do the next beat faster than it should and then leave a gap where it was supposed to be. So like instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, it'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Which is actually not dangerous, but feels horrible. Whatever is happening to him is like the opposite of that. So there's definitely a wide range of definitions here. Ooh. Bumped the mic, sorry. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Also depends on what you have. There are certain surgeries that can improve it and medicines that can help it. Mine, also, before you guys worry, I'm not even bad enough to need any sort of treatment yet. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, I felt as if I was missed. Sorry, I can't read. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get-well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I mean, doctors haven't physically discovered anything wrong with my heart yet, but I was told once that I should try to relax a bit more and try to be happier or risk stress-induced heart attack. Oh, goodness. Definitely need to relax more. Obviously, I'm not a doctor and I don't know anything, but try drinking more water, too. I find that mine is a lot worse if I'm not properly hydrated, which is part of why we have a pee break every stream. You guys never have to worry about telling me to get a drink of water. I have so much water. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. This music is giving me anxiety, oh no! I mean, that's how he feels, so. I see Yoshi is part of the Stay Hydrated Club. Good. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of this first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanaka was the last to stop visiting. Not the sympathy class project. For me, that would make it somewhat worse. Yeah, I think that's how Hisao is feeling. Hisao's a little bit of a Debbie Downer. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. A hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So, I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time. Think of it as some kind of an omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. Well, there goes my stream idea. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. TV and streams are entirely different. That's fair. Especially this day and age. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside instead of moving within. This sounds like the pandemic. This sounds like quarantine, which is kind of what it is, honestly. This is how quarantine felt. Aside from the news, I don't touch TV either. Yeah. I get the news other ways. I don't even bother with... American news is exhausting. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. That's the big quarantine mood right there. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was gonna cry. But that happened only rarely. And I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There's this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time, sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. "Hello, Hisao. How are you today?" I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. "I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medications sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription." The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look for myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. Is this what dyslexia feels like? I wonder how many of those are real. Bronchospasm? Those are definitely conditions, not medicines. Insomnia? You see that up there? Does that say diarrhea? Maybe these are side effects. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contraindications? Contraindications. I can read. Goodness gracious, most likely side effects, yeah. Side effects, adverse effects, contraindications. And dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life? Every day? I'm afraid that this is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So, I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple of weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamned opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school. That's an insult. That's what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All of the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. I think the most interesting thing about the way that this scene is written is obviously Hisao is coming at it from the wrong angle. He's pretty ableist, but I think the point of this story is to change his opinion. But so many of the ways that they're talking about disabled people and the way that this school helps disabled people also have this like tinge of ableism in them. Like, none of these able-bodied people get it. And I think that's like intentional in the way that it was written, but it's so subtle, it's so interesting. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny. I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I can go back to school anyway. But no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something. Even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Here we go! What a cutie. Act 1, Life Expectancy. Good outlook on life. I don't know if I could do that. Attaboy. I think it's very true to life that you get to this point. I mean, I'm not saying this from experience with medical stuff. My medical stuff isn't that serious. But I think when you face big changes like that, you get to this point, or like big dangerous situations or like shitty situations, you get to this point where you just have to kind of be like, well, you know, this might as well happen, right? Like, so long as you're still sitting here and still breathing, something is going to move forward. Time isn't going to stop for you, even if you're feeling sorry for yourself. So I think he's just kind of so worn down. He's like, well, fuck it. You know? The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. I mean, yeah, that's how I've been going through life already. Yeah, exactly. Like, sometimes you find yourself in, like, the most garbage situation, and, like, it's the kind of thing where before that situation, it would have seemed in your head like everything just stops and you're just in that. But then when you're living in it, it's like, well, things are still moving, though. It's just a very interesting shift in perspective that you can't have until you're in it. And I feel like they captured that really well. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. And you just have to move on, fortunately or unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. It's like, this too shall pass is always true, right? Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered it. So I entered through it at a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. I would have. Like, are his parents with him? Because I would have so much fucking anxiety just, like, walking alone through this place. I can barely go, like, outside alone. Just the amount of vulnerability of walking through here all on your own after being in a hospital surrounded by people for 4 months. That's insane. This takes me back. Yeah, welcome to the Nostalgia Fest. I love showing this game to new people. I would have so much fun exploring that. Yeah, it looks like a cool place to live. Like, it's got more of like a college or like university energy than like what I think of for a high school. But I can't imagine that those first steps. Those must be terrifying. Coming out of the hospital, finally something different. See, this is where you and I are different, Yoshi. Because I would be like, oh god, there are other people here. They're perceiving me. So I walk towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. This game was my go-to in terms of getting storytelling, patterns, writing. It's so good! I haven't played it in a while, but it still holds up, it seems like. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. Doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. I played the French dialogue. I don't think I could speak French yet when I played this, or I was in the middle of learning. I guess so, because my thoughts are, I can meet new people and hear more stories. Oh god, no, I'm like, don't perceive me. Don't look at me. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, in the back of my head it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. Makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. Makes me think about hospitals again. How they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color. Yeah, makes sense. I had to get better at English before doing the English text. Yeah. I used to read fan fiction in French while I was studying French. That was my immersion. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Because you haven't been outside in 4 months, my guy. Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back. Even if I had no life I could return to. Those are some advanced learning tactics. Yeah, I learned a lot of words we didn't learn in class. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous, and with this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be... Niki? Nakai. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. Wonder what kind of words. Well, visual novels are nice to learn things with. Hell, games made me learn way more English than what my schools did. I'll have to keep that in mind. I'm trying to learn some Japanese now, and you're probably right. Visual novels are probably the way to go. Surely it's something you can impress your teachers with. It's full of nice meanings. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm sure. I'm sure they wouldn't be horrified. That guy reminds me of what's his name from Steins Gate. I haven't watched that. Watched is the right word, right? It's not a... Is it a manga? It's probably also a manga. He reminds me of someone too. I feel like he's just kind of like all of the weird teachers from every like anime or visual novel. French school barely teaches English basics. It's boring mostly. Oh no! I'm so sorry. Yeah, I've heard that French is very strict. Like the French people, but basically the concept of the French language, they're trying to preserve it as much as possible. So they're not too big on like getting loan words or anything. It's very interesting. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. That couldn't be more right, yeah. The amount of dirty looks I got when we went to Paris. I went to Paris like almost 10 years ago. But the amount of dirty looks that I got for being like, parlez-vous anglais? S'il vous plaît? Oh, it was terrible. That's a whole story though. It was a nightmare. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. I feel like we should have gone to the nurse. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Reminds me of the time I was invited to go to Majorca and was struggling to speak Spanish. Apologize for the French nightmare on behalf of my country for what it's worth. Nah, it's fine. I understand now the way that it is. If you're intrigued by time travel, but with the freaking emoji's blocking it, with a twist, then Steins Gate is for you. Interesting. I'll have to look into it. I only ever hear good things about Steins Gate. Somehow, not knowing what it is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Oh boy. Oh gosh. Our first choice! Do I remember how to save this game? I found it. I don't think we need to save before this, but we can save. Yay! I'm gonna go with yeah, of course, because I don't want to encourage depression. And he needs to stop being like, what's the point of everything? We need to venture out a little bit. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course. But not everyone likes to be at the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people. But I guess I should be the one to give the first impression of myself. Right. But it's no problem. Now I'm surprised because I hate those introduction games. God, there's nothing worse than standing in front of the class. I cannot imagine. It's very normal in Japanese culture to introduce yourself at the front of the class, I've gathered, but I could not. God, no. Terrifying. Let's go, then. For taking things at my own pace and introducing myself to people the way I like to. Yeah. Like icebreakers? That's what they call them in, like, uni, where it's like, okay, now we're all gonna get together and play 2 truths and a lie to get to know each other. It's like, oh my god, get me out of here. No, thank you. I don't want to tell people secrets, actually. You don't get to know anything about me. class presentations and such are easy to do. I mean, I did hold a speech in front of my entire grade of class. It's interesting. I hate talking in front of people. I hate public speaking. But acting I'm here for. And I don't know if it's like having a character that makes it different. But like, obviously, like, I can stream. But like, even if like this were a physical location, you guys were like sitting in an audience and I was on top of a stage, I would be fine with that. It's just in a like personal social situation that I can't handle. My heart is pounding in my chest and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Have to agree with you, Ophelia. I'm glad someone else feels that way. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. He seems like a very reliable homeroom teacher. I'm gonna do my best with all of the student names, but obviously I don't speak very much Japanese. Like, I can say my shoes are red and that's about it. So, forgive me if I pronounce things wrong. This makes me imagine being at a play but actively interacting with that. That is a thing. It's like improv sessions. Imagine this guy falls down the stairs. He feels like it. He feels like that's what he will do. I like the note here, actually, that because like these are pictures, I think, of real world places, but they specifically made sure to get one with a like ramp. It looks like, and like the bars on the side there. That's an interesting detail. I wonder where they went. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point to worrying so much about it. At least not this soon. There's plenty of point to worry about. Look at this. This is a nightmare. No, thank you. Everyone's staring at you. Oh god, no. Go back into the hospital. Boom. Secret ending. Can you imagine if that's what happened? It was like you passed out on your first day of school. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, partially so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. Oh yeah, I know that strategy. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left over around and in between the desks. An entire wall taken up by blackboards and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks, with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school. But then, why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I notice one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking to you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long, straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands, as if it will make her invisible. There's one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers at me over the rim of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kinda cute. So is the cheery-looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. Here they are. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the front row who only has one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao Nakai. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. What about Peter Griffin in the back? This kid? I didn't even notice him until you said that. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied even with what little I said, though. A few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. Could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones on about everyone getting along, while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round, with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in a bandaged stump. Makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She's the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know. And who else would be able to do that better, right? How can I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression.
Alright, bye-bye.
Oh, right. Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her, by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter.
It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Hakamichi, I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi Shi-chan.
Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she really has been staring at me this whole time. She nods once, nonchalantly. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short yet carefully, neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. Excuse me. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, "You'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you?"
I can see why you're a little confused, right? Right? But I understand why you would think I was Shi-chan. Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm kind of like an interpreter. She says, "It's nice to meet you too." You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course he is. If he wasn't, he wouldn't have been standing up there for no reason, right? Right. He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today. So soon. He-chan, right?
He-chan?
Yep. It fits, doesn't it?
Did I say that out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how.
It fits. You look just like I imagined. Yeah, you look just like a Hichan.
I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed.
Sorry about that. Shi-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it.
Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks. That would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight to class today.
That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school either. Always, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Shi-chan?
Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that, or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it half-assedly, but anyway. I don't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? Seems like it was about me. This is actually pretty nice, not gonna lie. It's so chill. I think as we get to know Shizune, they'll give her more of like her own presence rather than just having her come through Misha. So we'll see if we end up alone with her and she's signing and we actually understand any of it. Like if they give her dialogue, I'll have to give her a different voice. But I'm not quite sure how to handle that yet, given that she isn't speaking. I guess we'll figure it out. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deep.
You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test.
Alright.
And another thing, you don't have to call Shi-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shi-chan. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate? Yep, Shizune is fine.
Okay, that would be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who I assumed would be all business. Well, she still seems like that. Just less so, I guess.
Huh? Oh, right, we haven't touched the assignment. We should start work now, or Shi-chan will get mad.
The assignment is also kind of long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class.
That too.
Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message.
After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay?
The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. I do not miss busy work. I do not miss school at all. Still, we finish it a few minutes earlier than anyone else in the class, despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. Amen to that, Ophelia. Yeah. The clock tower bells ring, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down to the bottom floor. Interesting to have a cafeteria in the basement, if I'm understanding that correctly. Maybe it's just, like, built on a hill? Not that bell! Oh, you don't like the ding dong, ding dong. Just like everything in this school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Its big windows open to the courtyard towards the main gate. I guess it must be built on a hill then, if we're down below the entry point, but still have a way outside.
It's the cafeteria!
Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. Misha's a cutie. She's a bit much for me sometimes, but I think she's a cutie. There's a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. I don't see why that makes it less great. How nice. It almost feels like I'm back at the hospital, eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of patients. Pick something at random and follow Shizune to a table, sitting opposite of her. As I nibble indifferently at the food I'd rather not eat, Misha pokes me to the side to get my attention and points to Shizune. Oh, it's the same bell as Five Nights at Freddy's? Oh god, I didn't even think about that. I think it's just like the standard clock bell, but yeah, PTSD. I don't understand sign language, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at a person who talks to you is proper and polite?
Do you want to know something?
What?
About anything. We're your guides, so you should ask if there's something.
I wonder. Okay, what do we ask? I think it's pretty rude to just blatantly be like, so, you're deaf, huh? like, I get that Hisao is still kind of getting used to wrapping his head around this being normal, but like, my guy. Why don't we ask about the library, since that was, like, actually his interest? Oh yeah, is there a library in this school? Lately I've gotten into reading a lot, so I'd like to check it out. Misha gives the kind of frown that makes it clear to me she doesn't consider reading a healthy hobby, but then picks up her smile again.
There is. It's in the second floor. We can show you sometime.
Thanks. I return to my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they're talking about secret girl stuff or something. I would love to know what he thinks secret girl stuff is. Like, are they just like signing about their periods? I quickly notice a conversation in sign is not enough to fill a silence. Gotta learn sign language, my guy. I feel like probably a lot of the class knows at least some signs, considering Shizune's their class rep. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. That dark-haired girl I noticed before is slumped over her desk at the last row. I loved her, I remember that. She was a precious bean. This is peak fiction. I'll never forget my first playthrough. Exactly! I'm glad to see so many people popping in and being like, oh my god, I remember this game. It was so good. It is! I'm just doing my part to share it with anyone who hasn't had the opportunity to see it. She jumps a little when Misha crashes into the room with the elegance of a rhino. She shrinks deeper in her seat. I can feel her tension all the way from here, as if she were slowly turning into stone just from our presence. Misha and Shizune either don't notice or don't mind as they walk directly past her to their seats and begin to converse. I'm left wondering about her, even when the classroom slowly fills with other students, and finally, the teacher. Also, I think I might download this too! Just be aware, like I said, that there are explicit scenes that you can toggle off, but like, I think it just skips the not safe for work image. I'm not quite sure. Just be aware. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of the class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. Thanks for the heads up. The explicit stuff is quite tasteful, though. It is! It's very well done, I think. They did really well with, like, writing and where they placed it and everything. Absolutely. But figured I should just tell you, because obviously with me streaming this, I have that toggled off. Don't want to surprise people or have them, God forbid, playing like where someone else can see. It is pretty clear when it's gonna happen, but still, yeah. I shouldn't be this tired on my first day of school. I mean, I would be exhausted. Maybe it's the long time spent in the hospital that made me like this. I'm even feeling physically weak and lifeless. I think that's valid, my guy. Before long, the final bell rings. We're just gonna be traumatizing you, Felipe, I'm sorry. School is finally over for the day. Beside me, Misha and Shizune are having a short conversation. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Damn bell! Yeah, it's just gonna keep happening.
Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today, Hee-chan. We've got to hurry already, since there's a lot of work for us to do. You'll find your way around here, I'm sure of it.
Wait. The teacher said I have to see the nurse. Where do I have to go?
Is that so? We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own building, so we have to go outside.
We join the flow of students making their way down the stairwell and outside, with the girls pointing out other senior classrooms in the same hallway as ours. When we get outside, the girls make their way to the smaller building right next to the school. It's built in the same style, so it looks like it's actually part of the main building.
This is the auxiliary building here. There's a lot of official and important stuff inside, like the Yamaku Foundation office and the nurses' offices. They even have a swimming pool.
How is that official?
Don't be silly, Hee-chan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Anyway, all the nursing staff facilities are in there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. You'll be fine from here, right? We'll be going then. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building for stuff that has nothing to do with the actual education? I guess it's necessary for a place like this. This place looks like a dungeon. I walk in, hoping that this really will only be a quick visit like the teacher said. On a white door on the left is the green cross with the text, Head Nurse, and a nameplate. A voice from inside responds to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. Sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself further in. The room is not large, and it smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around on his office chair to face me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils, and there are at least a dozen coffee cup rings littering on the desk. God, this guy looks suspicious too. I don't trust visual novel doctors, is what it is. I can't trust them. This music doesn't help. Hello there. What can I do for you today? I only have one man voice. I'm so sorry. Alrighty then, I gotta hit the hay. Alright, good night! Sleep tight, Felipe! Yeah, you absolutely should play it. It's wonderful. I love it. He is young looking and sort of rugged, but the dimples in his cheeks wash that impression away when he smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who's heard this very same question hundreds of times. Why, yes, I am. It says so on the door, no? You can call me by my name, or just the nurse, like everyone else. Of course. I shake off my confusion, realizing I probably should grab his extended hand. His handshake is rather firm and friendly. Right. I'm a new student, and my homeroom teacher told me to come and meet you. My name is Hisao Nakai. His eyes light up with revelation, and he snaps his fingers. Oh, you're that Nakai. His voice changes every time I open my mouth. I'm so sorry. I was just reading your file this morning. Some kind of chronic arrhythmia and related congenital heart muscle deficiency, right? See, that's probably more so his issue than just the arrhythmia. He gestures for me to sit down in a vacant armchair in front of his desk. Yes. Good. Well, you've probably been briefed about this school enough, so I'll just go over this quickly. We have all kinds of facilities available, mostly physical therapy and such. There's always someone from my staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there's a problem. Famous 24-hour nursing staff. Wow, this is like a hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do brain surgery here. His joke feels so out of place that I'm left thinking, why didn't he even say it? Yeah, just that it's really weird to have so many medical people at a school. You'll get used to it. I'm not so sure of that myself, but I don't let the nurse know it. Now, let me just find your file again. While he searches for something from his computer and shuffles stacks of papers around, I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic, I'd like to say. Beige walls and ceiling, dark gray laminate flooring, and all the equipment you'd expect from a nurse's office. Even the ridiculous educational posters are hanging on all four walls, reminding me to eat properly 3 times a day and from all the food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick file from a stack of similarly thick files and opens it. So, you already have the medications for arrhythmia. Just remember to take your pills every morning and evening, or it won't be of much help. Apart from that, do you do sports? Rash stuff like, I don't know, boxing? He grins at his own joke, but I don't. Well, I played soccer occasionally with some classmates. Alright, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to recommend you to refrain from doing that, at least for the time being. Oh. My lack of reaction makes him raise an eyebrow, but really, I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. I guess I never did it out of a burning passion for the sport, just to have something to do. Any kind of concussion might be very dangerous to your heart, and risking another attack is not a good idea. Was the previous one caused by a sudden concussion to the chest area? There's no mention of cause in your papers. No, not exactly. I sidestep the question acceptably, and he glances at me over his papers with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise would do you good. We have physical therapy and such available, as I said, but I don't think you really need such heavy measures. Just get some light exercise regularly. Brisk walks, or even light jogging, jumping rope, that sort of thing. Swimming, maybe? There's a pool here. So I was told. You were? Very good. At any rate, I'm sure you've been told this before, but you just need to take care not to overexert yourself. He wags his finger to emphasize the point. No need, really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risks. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them on the desk. Obviously content. Good. That's it then. Come meet me if you ever need something. I'm ushered out before I even realize it. A quick visit indeed. I end up standing in front of the main building and the auxiliary building, although to my eyes, they still look like one and the same. It's the first real look I get at the other students, so I watch people coming out of the school, going towards the gate or the dorms. Everyone seems to know where they're going. And I still keep thinking that most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us? I should go somewhere too, to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. The weariness in me only grows as I trudge toward the dorms, set a little way apart from the main building. There is a garden of sorts between the school and the dorms, shrubbery, flowers, and that overbearing smell of fresh-cut grass that fills the atmosphere. It dawns on my tired mind that the smell feels novel because I haven't been outside at all for so long. The dorm building is big and made of red brick. Like the others, it feels way too pompous for what it is, so I push forward, going inside. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given from my pocket. Room 119. Despite the ornate exterior, the inside of the dorm is fairly new, functional, and boring. That's kind of what I was thinking. Just like in the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs. The same goes for the elevators at the end of the hallways. I poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, a few students are watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning back to the TV. Seems that only the girls around here are sociable. I suppose that's perfectly fine with me. I climb the stairs to the upper floor. Here, small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seems to have a toilet and a shower, as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down the hall, I spy room 119. The nameplates on the rooms adjacent to mine are blank. I guess there are just 2 of us here. Light shines from below the door of room 117, so I knock lightly. Hello? Is anyone home? From inside, I hear a few movements, and then the clicking of way more locks than I thought these doors had. For a moment, the door squeaks open. Oh god, it's this guy. I remember this guy. Oh boy. A bespectacled boy is standing in the doorway. He is looking at me very intently through his extremely thick eyeglasses.
Who is it?
Blind? No, at least not completely. Why would he have eyeglasses if he was? He leans closer to me until our noses are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. Hisao Nakai. I'm moving in the next room. I thought I should introduce my... His face suddenly brightens in realization, and he stands back upright, thrusting his hand out in a smiling greeting, almost straight into my diaphragm.
Oh, sup, dude? The name's Kenji.
Hi. I take Kenji's sweaty hand and shake it, still a little rattled by the sudden change of attitude and the vehement welcome.
There were some suspicious-looking people going in and out of your room earlier.
It was probably my parents?
Your parents? You sure? Because they could have been some other people, too. Can't judge a book by its cover.
His out-of-place proverb is left hanging between us awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the chances are high enough. He shudders and makes some exaggerated hand gestures.
You're a brave man, Hisao. Me, I don't think I could trust the chances. The only one I trust is myself.
Does that mean I shouldn't get to know you either? He thinks about this for a while.
A wise decision.
Damn, you're smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope not smart. He squints his eyes and leans closer again, but I lean backwards to dodge it.
Never mind, doesn't matter.
With that, he turns, fumbles around for a moment in search of the door handle, and shuts the door behind him. I slide the key into the lock of the door marked 119. Bleak beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some type of light wood, ugly curtains. It's no one's room, impersonal, like my hospital room was. My bags are sitting at the foot of my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. The closet is sitting open, stocked with my clothes. Also, it seems that there's a number of school uniforms hanging there as well. A note is pinned to the sleeve of one of the shirts.
Hi, Hichan. We've unpacked your things and made your bed. They said that if these don't fit, then you should go to the office tomorrow. If you have any problems, you can always call us. Love, Mom and Dad.
Well, at least I don't have to worry about unpacking. I kind of hoped I would have. Then there would be something to do. It's still too early. I put the note down on the desktop and lie down on the bed, feeling drained. Lying there makes me want to read something, but I have nothing with me. I wonder if the hospital conditioned me for wanting to read whenever I have nothing to do. The restless urge just keeps growing until I have to stand up. Maybe it's stress or something. I was pretty nervous about it before coming, and for the entire day today, too. I still am, I think. Damn. I have to distract myself somehow, so I won't be this unnatural all the time. Tomorrow, I'll go borrow some books from the library. Yeah, I'll do that. But for now... The bottle of medications neatly arranged on my night table catch my eye. I pick up one and shake it just to hear the contents rattle inside, and then read the glued-on pharmacy label. Hisao Nakai, 2 tablets daily to stay alive. It doesn't really say that, but it could just as well. It's kind of twisted, having your life depend on chemicals like this. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? With a sigh, I begin my new daily ritual of taking the right number of pills from each bottle, being careful to check the correct dosages. I lie down again, feeling hollow and uncertain, and after that I keep staring at the blank, unfamiliar ceiling for a long time. It doesn't start looking any more familiar. Not even after darkness falls and long shadows draw across my room like fingers. Man, you ever just, lay down and stare at the ceiling until the sun sets? I'm joking, but not completely. The sheets feel slightly more comfortable, warm and nest-like against the chill that passes for a room temperature here. Soon, the lighter shade of darkness that is the ceiling looks like every ceiling does at night, and it becomes the only thing I recognize anymore. The night beckons me to sleep, and I feel the coldness of unfamiliarity and fear creeping up my spine once again. I keep drifting further away from the world I knew. Hakushu. Oh. This is probably a good part to save at, huh? Been going a bit. Why don't we save? Yes. I wake up in a strange room. Solid morning light shimmers against the light gray ceiling. I had forgotten to draw the curtains closed last night. This is my room, isn't it? My room. This is the 3rd room this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Various things around here remind me that, indeed, it's me who is supposed to be the one living here. My bags on the floor, my new school books on the desk, my numerous medications on the night table. I stare at the bottles for a moment, deliberating until I open a bottle, shake out a pill, and pop out a tablet from a foil sheet. I down them with a chaser of water without thinking about the chemistry. My uniforms are in the closet. I slink out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. The artificial smell of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh cloth against my back is a good one, a natural one. Probably gonna lurk mostly, but I figured I should say hi. First time been able to tune into the streams live. Well, it's good to see you. Hello. You're perfectly welcome to lurk. Bottles on the table, good old reliable, blah. At least it's a new day for our protagonist. Yeah. I have to keep up a daily regimen of pills for my cat because she's quite old and rather sick, and I can definitely imagine how this would just drag on you at first trying to do this for yourself. But yeah, feel free to lurk and just chill and vibe with us. Feels like a school uniform, as it should. It's not much different from what I used to wear before. That goes for other things, too. So far, this place seems more or less like a normal school. Except for the people. I think back to my talk with Kenji yesterday. Misha's constant laughter and Shizune's sweeping sign language gestures. Well, I've only met 3 students so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure others are. Or perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here? Yeah, what does pass for normal around here? What do people do? Probably will go to bed. I got work at 6 a.m. so I can't stay up. Go to bed! Sleep tight! If you ever want to come back and watch, the VODs always go up, so it's totally fine. Or download the game and start another playthrough. It's great fun. Yeah, but sleep tight. Get some rest. I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after class yesterday, so maybe there are clubs? If so, I wonder if I should join one. Ah, yes. The classic struggle of joining a club.
Night-night!
All through class, the question remains on my mind, so I decide to ask Shizune about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. She crosses her arms and shifts her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind the eraser of her pencil down so that the top is perfectly and evenly flat.
Sorry, Shi-chan. Is there something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That's a good question, Hee-chan.
My first thought is that means she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyway, Misha, please don't prove me right.
Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there isn't really anything else to do. There are also school events, like the school festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student in the school tends to help out with it, doing whatever. So, you've actually transferred at a busy time. Maybe you can help out too.
Sure. What's the festival about? Misha freezes.
I don't know, Hee-chan. The truth is it's a local event, and I'm not from this area, so...
She starts signing desperately to Shizune, asking her to bail her out. Shizune adjusts her glasses at the end of an oddly grandiose flourish and starts signing hard and heavy.
Huh? Oh. Who cares?
Misha puffs out her chest as she shouts Shizune's words out at me with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud. I can see heads turning to look in our direction. Not so loud.
Human beings evolve with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival will inevitably change with time. Now it's about delicious fried food and amusing little games that you play to win prizes.
The teacher clears his throat very loudly, batting his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton. He shoots a pointed gaze at us. Finally noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quiets down. Shizune doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though, brushing it off without a care.
We are in the middle of class and should start working. That's right, Chi-chan. What? That's right! Hee-chan, are you asking because you're interested in joining the club?
Could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchange between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does that every other word anyway. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Shizune look at each other again. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with long, dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. It doesn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher, who's also looking at the dark-haired girl go. Why doesn't he say anything?
Hee-chan? Is something wrong?
Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me after the girl who left? No, nothing.
Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you?
Thought I would go to the library and pick up some books. Not really.
Do you want to have lunch together then?
Sure.
Yay! Okay, Hee-chan, perfect.
The rest of class passes uneventfully. The girl with the long hair never came back. Before I have time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. Shizune looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all our work on time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not a contest or anything.
Yes, it is, Hee-chan.
Impossible.
Really?
Really. I've noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha's always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously, it must be so Shizune can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and me. I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune? I'm used to looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really... Shizune can't hear me, but it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing, and it will take some time to get used to. I like how, true that is, because it is good manners to look at the person's face when they're signing, and not just, stare at their hands. It's not a contest, because contests are competitions over a prize. If there's no prize on the line, then it's really not a contest. Shizune's eyes flash dangerously with a competitive glare. She stares at me, as if surprised that I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. I never noticed before how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. I love this face she makes. She's so cute when she does this.
Are you sure, Hee-chan?
Very sure.
You're wrong, Hee-chan. Because I don't want to be the slowest one in the class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my abilities, and the prize is the satisfaction of proving them.
Shizune pushes her glasses up the bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. Here comes the bell again. I'd argue more, but the bell rings, and she quickly gets up and picks up her bag, looking at me expectantly. I'd almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them.
Where do you want to eat?
The cafeteria?
That's so plain. Okay, let's go.
Plain? Well, I guess. At my old school, I liked to eat outside, near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until near the end of my freshman year. I wonder if there's a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. Shizune and Misha pull me towards the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students favor eating in classroom or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had boxed lunches. After we finish eating, Misha picks up where we left off earlier.
So, Hee-chan, you wanted to know about clubs and stuff, right? Right? Right, Shi-chan. Okay, I guess it makes sense to ask first.
Exchanging little nods of confirmation, they turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture, as if she's about to deliver a speech.
Hee-chan, do you have anything you're really interested in?
I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. As of late, I usually just read a lot.
There's a book club, right, Shi-chan? Right, but it seems like they have all the members they could possibly have right now. Sorry, Hee-chan, it's a really popular club. Okay, but more to the point, Hee-chan, does this mean that you don't really have anything in mind?
Not really.
Good! Great! That's great, Hee-chan! Really great!
Why is it so great?
No reason. Well, Hee-chan, other than clubs and the upcoming festival, there is one other thing. Student Council!
Feels a bit surreal again seeing this game again, since my own introduction was in high school. We went through the first bit of it in anime club of all things. Oh, that's wild considering how graphic it gets later. It's very interesting. I'm having kind of the same feelings as I'm going through it. It's very nice to get back to it though. I see. I didn't know this school had a student council. That was very melodramatic setup though, just to tell me that. I'm pretty sure the two of them know this, because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it, and Misha is laughing. Shizune quickly retakes control of the discussion, in a manner of speaking. After all, it's still Misha who has to voice whatever she says.
Huh? Right. Hee-chan, maybe you should join the student council. They could use more people. Yes, definitely. You should definitely join.
Why?
Well, for one, we could hang out every day, Hee-chan. Shi-chan and I are both in the student council. Actually, Shi-chan is the president.
I'm starting to get the suspicion that Shizune and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk about this with. As if reading my mind, Shizune quickly adjusts her glasses and signs something to Misha.
Of course, we're not trying to get you to join just because we would obviously benefit from you joining the student council and therefore have an incentive to try and get you to...
So you're admitting that?
No, we admit nothing. I mean, Hee-chan, of course, it would be nice if you joined, and we'd appreciate it. But even without all that, joining the student council shows a healthy interest in the workings of one's school. Yep, it's true, Hee-chan. Besides, don't you want to spend time with us after school, Hee-chan?
I can't tell if she's being genuine or if this is just really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying hard to look their cutest, although they were already pretty cute to begin with. Well...
So it's settled then. Welcome to the student council, Hee-chan.
What? No. No.
Aww. See, Shi-chan? Of course it wouldn't go so easily. Yep, that's right. Though it would be boring if things went that smoothly. Oh well, Shi-chan owes me candy now.
You were betting on it? Hey, my life is not a game here. I mean, you saw how it kind of is. Shizune seems very intrigued by this when Misha signs it to her. The aggressive glint returns to her eyes.
That's interesting, Hee-chan. Let's play a game.
That's not what I said.
How about rich man, poor man, Hee-chan? If you lose, you have to join the student council.
No, absolutely not.
Aw, why not?
Well, because you two both have the same incentive, and therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that isn't my goal. But what this means is that both of you can team up and I'll be at a clear disadvantage. So, I will have to decline.
Hee-chan, I'm very offended. Are you saying you don't trust us and that we would pull something so disingenuous? That makes me sad.
Yeah, our prize at the time was a bit lax with mature content. Never caused any major problems, thankfully, but we definitely tried to make things more chill next year. Oh god. I'm just imagining watching, like, freaking some kind of ridiculous hentai in the middle of your after-school program. That's wild. Sorry. It's hard to tell where Shizune's influence ends and Misha's thoughts begin. That is true, and that's why I'm not giving them separate voices when Misha speaks, because I can't always tell which one is which.
In order to atone for hurting a young girl's feelings, you should definitely join the student council.
No.
How about a game of paper football instead of rich man, poor man?
Paper football?
Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper triangle and then you try to shoot it past the goalpost that the other player makes with their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people, Hee-chan. And it's also played by elementary and middle school children, Shi-chan. That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men.
More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyway, I'm not going to play that either. Just the fact that you know about it means you're probably surprisingly good at it.
Yeah, that's true. How did you know, Hee-chan?
Shizune frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit that so readily. I wouldn't say that I'm happy with their attempts to get me into the student council, but I'm a little curious about what the student council does here. I've never been on one before, or even know anybody who was a member, so it interests me. I also kind of like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
Okay, Hee-chan, how about Risk, the game of world domination?
I don't know what that is.
It's really fun, Hee-chan. You fight for control of the world with armies and everything.
It also takes like 6 hours to play. It's the longest board game I've ever experienced. Sounds like Shizune would be good at it.
If you want to play, we can after school. Really, Shi-chan? We can play just for fun, Hee-chan. Shi-chan hasn't played in a long time, so if you want to, there are no strings attached.
Well, okay.
Okay, perfect. We'll see you after school in the student council room then, Hee-chan.
Wait, why there?
Because that's where we keep the game.
I grimace to tell them how much I do not like this, but it's more for show than anything. So in the end, I agree, but only after getting Shizune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything concrete just by accepting to look around and play a game with her. Lunch ends, and we go back to class. During afternoon classes, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice, or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended, but I'd been considering it. Nevertheless, I am a bit disturbed that enough people have made a break for it in the past that they're on their guard. I love these two. They're such a good, like, best friendship. They're so cute. What's with the escort? Doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to his cell.
What's wrong, Kei-chan? That's right. We're just gonna go play a game of Risk, remember?
I don't know, Misha. This all seems a little sinister to me. I start thinking that when we sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still. For some reason, it just seems like it would be so plausible. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What? That's it? This makes you guys being so on top of me seem a little silly.
That's not true, Hee-chan. Shi-chan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown the capability to pull off superhuman bursts of speed.
Life is threatened? Her expression unchanging, Misha signs something amusedly to Shizune, who makes a baffling face and puts her hands behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerily. Stop that. I know you heard me. You have no excuse, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door in the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room, although it's quite large, maybe even a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center, surrounded by chairs, and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Shizune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side as well. Extras, perhaps? Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer. Just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old school records and documents. Not much else. In fact, nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put a potted plant in here or something. But the most noticeable thing that this room doesn't have is other people. Are we early?
No.
What do you mean, no? Does it mean no one else is coming today?
Yeah, that's right.
Before I manage to ask why that's the case, Shizune claps her hands together very energetically.
Hee-chan, let's play Risk. Come on, you promised, didn't you? You have to. Okay. Do you want to know the rules? We can explain to you while we set everything up. Hi, Moon. Welcome back.
While Misha is talking, Shizune takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of her filing cabinets and throws it on the table. Actually, this looks kind of interesting. What has transpired? We got to our new school. We met some friends. There's this girl who translates for the other girl who just stepped off of screen because the other girl is deaf. We met a very weird neighbor. And there's a girl in the back of our class who keeps quietly slipping away like she's terrified of people, but no one seems to say anything about it. And right now these two are trying to convince us to join the student council, but we're about to play a board game. That's pretty much it. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares this game has started with a decisive motion, slicing her arm through the air. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off onto me. I start feeling more competitive than I intended to be when I agreed to this. Halfway into the game, while I try to ponder how to defend against Shizune's assault from two fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers on the table to get my attention.
Hee-chan, Shi-chan wants you to know that you are taking too long to make a move. Shi-chan also says that she will let you keep Australia if you agree to join the student council.
They are insistent. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Just the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no.
Shi-chan admires your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you agree to join the student council.
You are so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take this as a compliment. I would expect the student council president to be a little more magnanimous.
Magnanimous?
She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed, so she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who in return signs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index fingers against her temples, as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shizune bursts into a flurry of gestures. Misha looks daunted by the pace of her heated signing.
Wait, please slow down, Shi-chan. Hee-chan, Shi-chan says you're going to lose.
Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion.
Okay.
Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischief. Look at his face. She's so cute.
She says you have no choice if you keep playing like this. You have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't.
How do we play this out? Defensive or aggressive? It's like Shizune is so aggressive that I don't know that we could meet her pace if we were also aggressive in this board game. But I don't know that we could defend against her either. Is it a trap or not? Is she trying to reverse psychology us? That's the question. I'm gonna say it's a trap, but I feel like we're gonna lose. It's likely that she's just trying to psych me out. Looking at the board again, I have pretty good defenses set up, and I'm not going to wreck it doing something reckless. A few turns later, I lose the game anyway. Shizune adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration.
Hee-chan, you lost when you allowed me to take North America. I mean, Shi-chan, not me. Getting control of North America is ambitious because it provides a 5-army bonus, but you can attack it from 3 fronts, so you must defend them all.
Somebody, was really intense about this specific board game when they wrote this script. If you haven't played the game Risk before, you probably are like, what the hell are they talking about?
I thought you'd have more guts. How disappointing. Ambition, Hee-chan. Your play needs to be more daring. Ambition! Ambition! I was really excited when you took South America, but then you switched to playing defensively just because you gained a small advantage. That's no good, Hee-chan. You didn't take enough risks, and when you did, you didn't follow through. That's terrible, Hee-chan.
We're getting roasted. Damn, what's it to her if I played too carefully? There's no need to rub it in my face. Oh my god.
I wonder if you'd be any good for the student council.
What's this? Reverse psychology? I guess I don't have to worry about joining or not in that case.
Giving up just like that? I expected more of you.
Seriously, is Shizune trying to taunt me into joining the council? Besides, I don't even want to join. It's only my second day. I can't make that kind of commitment. I haven't even taken a look at any other clubs yet. And these two, they're a little weird. Fine. I'll consider joining the council, but I want to take a look at the clubs before I decide. Just checking in for a moment what I miss. These two are trying desperately to get us to join the student council. Shizune is very intense about it.
Really, Hee-chan? You're not just saying that to make us feel better?
Yeah, I'm just not sure that I want to.
Aww. Okay, Hee-chan, but we're not giving up so easily. You said maybe. There's still a chance you'll come around. Come on, we could really have fun. We could play more Risk, and maybe one day you could beat me, unless we graduate before that.
That doesn't make me feel any less reluctant about joining, you know.
Surely you're not that horrible at board games. Maybe we can play a game you know then, to give you a handicap.
I might have said that just to make you feel better after all.
Aw, that's cold, Hee-chan.
I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I've spent far longer playing Risk than I expected. Yeah, it's a long game. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Shizune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine whether the library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. Nothing like a good round of Monopoly, pretty much.
It should be, unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Shi-chan. We think the library is open. It's on the second floor. Can't miss us. Can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is?
No, thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye!
One flight of stairs up and I run into problems. The second floor hallway is a carbon copy of the third floor one. Wide, of course, and plain, like only hallways can be. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but there's a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them, or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the latter and choose my direction at random. After I turn around the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, though. It's just barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. At the very least, it means that someone is inside, and I can ask for directions, no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly push on the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to this school can't be shaken from my mind. So much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. This is how I feel in every social situation, in every foreign location, anywhere I go. I feel this sensation. I'm like, oh god, I don't belong here. Everybody wants me to leave. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though it's much easier to open than I'd anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, a meek "hello" on my lips is quickly snatched away. Luckily, I don't have that problem anymore. Good for you, man. It is hard. It's her. I really like her, too. This is not what I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to its full extent, taking in the sight of a solitary figure taking stage in an otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice. leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently, having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me.
Hello there. May I help you?
Staring directly in front of herself, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi. Sorry for intruding. I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Blonde with blue eyes! My weakness. She's a real sweetheart.
Care to take a seat?
Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step towards another seat opposite her, the girl resting the teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling. That, and the slight cloudiness of her eyes, means she must be at least partially blind, like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. No detectable accent, I give her a British accent. I think she's from the UK, I don't quite remember where though. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office.
I take it you're a new student to Yamaku.
Yeah, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, accentuated by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match before realizing the futility of the action.
I'm Lily Sato. Pleased to meet you.
Hisao Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup.
Would you care for a drink?
Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't keep step with her formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along a shelf. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to be using her long, dainty finger to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I'd never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of preparing the drink.
So,
her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance.
Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school.
My accent is falling all over the place, sorry. The school library. Shizune and some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, the small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it being stirred.
I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no?
That's right. I'm in the science room with Muto. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand.
He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do.
As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Sato. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please. There's no need to be too formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess I should try and ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So, which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes. Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyagi, and is specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Sorry. I feel like slapping myself for the faux pas. Looking at her face, though, she doesn't seem in the least bit put off by it. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. I like that, because that is also something that I have heard blind people say, is like, you know, I see, or like, did you see this? It's just a phrase. You don't have to be hypersensitive about it. Like, they'll say it too. It's fine. Sure. Sorry. I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. Category which would include her, it seems. All too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I segue into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? Do you come here often? Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunch times. My duties as class representative don't leave enough time for an official club, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem almost complete opposite. While Shizune's blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kinds of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones would be the Track and Field Club, which uses the field near the school during lunch times, the Baseball Club, and the Book Club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, though, such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if this school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Ah, good. That's a relief. I've really let my guard down around this girl to let such a thing slip out. The fact seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lily does the same. As I look over to the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming into the room has a distinctly orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. Huh, the time's gone quickly. Oh boy, what this intense, like, romantic atmosphere. We went from, like, really chill to, like, very, like, dating sim music, for sure. Sorry. Right, she's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. Seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of the time. Sorry, Hisao. I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly move to allay her concern. No, it's okay. The library's still open, isn't it? She pauses, then takes a moment to think on it. It's probably something I should have asked Shizune when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. True, it's opened until 6:30 during weekdays. Quick glance at my watch confirms I have well enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been really nice talking to you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it all right. Well, unless my navigational skills fail me. Which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's all right. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that'd be great. Thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight, retractable cane that has been slipped into the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer. His must be for support, whereas Lily's is for navigation. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers, we slowly walk through the hallway. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Ladies first. She gives an appreciative smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. That was the most, meet cute introduction that I've ever seen. That was super, super adorable. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school's library, with the distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. There don't seem to be a lot of students here. Considering the time, it isn't a big surprise. Everyone's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to thin air since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lily can't see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extremely rigid attention.
Hi, Lily. How can I help you?
Her voice is strained in a failing attempt to sound casual as she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound.
It's nothing. I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and then while I was looking for both of them, you came in and surprised me.
Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me.
She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could in any way be inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter.
Yes, worse things have happened.
The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around on the corner for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look, she seems to fit a library perfectly.
Lily, did you get my message?
Message?
Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived? Right. They finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but...
Amidst her celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure, she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does.
Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry.
I'm getting Bernadetta energy. The way she can so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me, Yuko. This is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you.
Hisao. Right, Hisao. Nice to meet you too, Hisao.
I gotta stop bumping the mic, I'm so sorry. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name in her mind so she won't forget. Yuko often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror.
Please, Lily, I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility.
How is it any responsibility at all? I don't get. But her objection is so sincere, I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are.
But...
So, there are a lot of books in Braille here? I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work at least partially, as Yuko seems to not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense.
Well, I think about a third or a fourth of Yamaku's library is either in Braille or audio.
Makes sense, given all the blind students that'd be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place?
Well, we get a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelf them all. It's so troublesome and they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job.
I love this girl. A very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. It's probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me.
Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's all right with you.
My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I study the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck for choice here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large print and Braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is, a library. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lily in snuck with us in here. Unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks, set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice, quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has the odd students sitting at a desk, either reading or stealthily sleeping, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of several beanbags. It's her! It's the dark-haired girl from my class, the one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, but keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she was acting today, I had her pegged as more of the delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. Intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking towards the mysterious long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate, after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my books beside it. The girl starts, looking scaredly up at me from underneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see that part of her face, at least a third, if not a half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. For a second, I'm shocked, and divert my eyes to the book in her hands, before I realize that looking away probably only makes it worse. It takes too many seconds to collect myself and remember that what I walked up to her for. She looks pretty cute. She's super cute. She's a baby. You might like her. She's got some Bernie energy for sure. I think, do we apologize or do we just introduce ourselves? Bernie energy coming in? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm not 100% sure like which parts of Bernie make you so happy, but she's got some of them, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna apologize for startling her because I feel bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you.
It's okay.
The girl certainly doesn't look like it's okay, but I let it slide. So, do you mind if I sit here? She seems to be very uncertain whether it's okay or not for me to sit, but she finally nods, just a little.
Oh, okay.
I take the seat next to her and she hides herself behind her book. Life of Pi. Never heard of it. Pretty sure this is where I first heard of that book, actually. So, sorry again for startling you. I'm Hisao. She looks up from her book, stalling a little before replying.
I know. We are in the same class.
Her speech is stilted and so quiet that it's barely audible, even in the still library. Somehow I think that my delinquent impression of her was wrong.
Hanako. I'm Hanako.
I resist the urge to say, that's a nice name, just to have something to say, but really it's the only thing I can think of. Oh yeah, I want to protect her. Exactly. I think she's the first one I romanced. She's precious. I feel like an idiot. Everyone here must be used to being different to each other, and here I am being all bothered and fussed about that kind of thing. Don't let me interrupt your reading. I'll just check these books, if you don't mind. She nods a little and sighs a little sigh of relief. So I try to read the covers and the introductions of the books I picked up, and she buries her face in her book. Not the game calling me out for using the nice name trope. Oh yeah. Oh, huh, that's nice. That's cool. How's the weather? Small talk is so hard. Uncomfortable silence consumes us. My eyes still wander to her direction, and I sneak peeks at her flowing hair and the scars it's hiding. I hear Bernie energy. I have immediately lured out. I feel like Hanako has some Bernie energy. For sure. After a while, I realize that she's doing the same and only pretending to be immersed in Life of Pi. See, a fellow man of taste. Her gaze is not inquisitive at all, though. It darts around like a scared rabbit. When our gazes finally meet, the chain reaction is unstoppable. She stands up forcefully from the beanbag and takes a deep breath.
I've got to go do something.
Without warning, Hanako takes off and runs toward the counter. Her hair-like takeoff catches me so off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. By the time I reach the counter, she's nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you notice a girl run past here?
Maybe? What did she look like?
Long, dark hair, kind of shy. She had, well, some scars on her face.
You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you?
Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something.
Oh dear. Yuko, would you excuse me? I better try to find her. Sure, I'll just hold on to these until you come back.
What's going on?
I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time.
Right. I'll see you later then? Lily hastily grabs her cane and hurries out of the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong?
What did you do?
Nothing. I was just looking for some books, and then she got this fit and ran off. The most offending thing I can think of was that I might have looked in her general direction a few times.
Well, she is a very timid girl. You have to be very careful around her. She can be very jumpy, I think, and she's not accustomed to talking with other people.
Isn't that a bit strange?
I wonder. It's just how she is, I think.
Yuko doesn't sound all that convincing. Then again, maybe this is just the norm around here. Everyone has their own problems, or else they wouldn't be here. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casual only makes me feel phony. Like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yuko fidgets, looking like she wants to say something to that, but resists it.
I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way.
I guess she doesn't have a good sense of restraint. It makes me smile, and she blushes heavily.
What? Did that sound stupid?
No, it sounded really wise. I guess you're right. It's more about me than anyone else. It's such a good game. They're so right. Ah! I love this writing. Neither of us has anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. People who have papers on their desk really like doing that.
Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, this library should be closing, but I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you.
Oh, yeah, I want some books, but I left them over there because... I'll just go get them. I fetch my stack of books from beside the bean bags where Hanako and I were sitting and return to the counter. Sorry, hiccup.
Wow, you read a lot, don't you?
I surprise myself with that too, honestly. At least when I really think about it. I had a lot of free time earlier this year, so I just kind of started reading books to fill that time. I couldn't do much else.
I see.
But she doesn't say anything else, just checks out my books for me. I guess this is what they call tact. Holding the library books with one arm, I trawl my pocket for the key to the door. Sudden sound from behind startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying or the key that I almost managed to get into the lock.
Who is it?
I turn around to see who's talking to me. It's Kenji. He seems to be in a friendly mood, although the light glinting off his glasses in the dark gives him a sinister look. It's just me. Harry Potter. Oh no, this is our weirdo neighbor. He's a weirdo. In case you couldn't tell. Oh god, this dude, exactly. This makes him pause and lick his lips nervously.
Who is me? I don't know anyone called me. Are you some kind of new guy again?
His voice is suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we've met before. Yesterday.
I don't think so. I would remember someone who I met only yesterday. When was that? What day is today?
I try to ignore him. Is he joking or what?
Prove that we've met before.
You live across the hall. You're Kenji. Kenji jumps back, his eyes filled with uncomprehending fear.
How do you know my name?
This voice is killing me.
Damn, this can only mean one of two things. Either we have met, or you're telling the truth, and I just can't remember it, or you are a spy.
He pauses.
A psychic spy.
His eyes dart around me, trying to peek into my room, although it's hard to believe he can see anything through those thick glasses. He's an even bigger nut than I remember, oh lord. All I remember is getting a bad end with him, and that was wild. His mood swung from friendly to manic in less than a minute. I'm not a psychic.
How do I know that? I'm not a mind reader.
Kenji points a finger in my face damningly.
Unlike you!
This guy is nuts. Stop that, man. We met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room.
Lies. If you think you can pass off as Hisao because I'm legally blind, you are sorely mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblance is real slim. Maybe at a distance, but who do you think you're kidding?
I want to grab him by the shoulders and shake him. Exasperated, I rub my eyes and let out a heavy sigh.
Stay there.
Kenji comes closer, one careful step at a time. I stay still, lest he assault me physically, although I doubt he could do much damage even if he did.
Oh, wait. I see it now. Damn, really is you.
I love this game. All of the Katawa Shoujo fans are coming out of the woodwork to come see this. Welcome, welcome. I'm doing my part of showing it to everybody because it's so good. Sighing again, and then once again for good measure, I step backwards, just in case.
What's up, man? You don't look too good, I think. Something wrong?
I don't know. I just had something stupid happen to me. A few stupid things, actually. Even if you discount this one. I can't get a proper touch on other people here, and I have no idea if it's because of me or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling this to Kenji. It's not like we had any contact either.
That's rough, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry about calling you a psychic spy and all, but you can never be too careful. It's the hard reality we live in.
I'm slowly starting to think that Kenji isn't necessarily living in the same reality as the rest of us.
You see? This is how it is, this world. There is no justice, you see? Even when I lose, I win, because I don't lose the lesson.
Whose path do you choose? We haven't gotten that far. The very first time I played this game, I picked Hanako, though, I think. I've also done Lily and Shizune's paths. I think I started Emi's, but I don't think I finished. We haven't met Emi or Rin yet. What does that even mean?
It doesn't matter.
He dismisses it flatly with a wave of his hand.
So, what happened? Why the long face? Do you have a long face?
It's nothing. I just scared some girl off accidentally. Literally, too. She actually ran away from me. It was my fault, really, I think. I'm not really used to all this yet.
A girl? A cute one?
Cute? That's a hard question. She had a nice body and really beautiful hair, but the face... I guess it could go either way. She's cute, damn it! We're not, no! I will not stand for this slander. Fucking men. Yeah, cute, I guess.
I knew it! There are a lot of cute girls here, a strangely disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the dark secrets of this school. I tried to warn you, man, but did you listen?
I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets?
Yeah, dark secrets. Extremely dark, like a black hole. Have you noticed that the number of girls in this school is slightly, but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like 60 to 40.
He turns his head to the left and stares off into the distance at nothing.
Why is it like this? I mean, to the untrained eye, it doesn't appear to be that bad, but that's a full 20%. One would think that a school with such a huge pool of women would be a man's dream, but no. What I am about to tell you could blow your mind. Are you ready?
Is this guy an incel? I don't know where this is going, but I think I won't be missing much by cutting out now. No, I am not ready. I only get as far as turning the doorknob before Kenji starts talking again, showing that he doesn't really care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that this... I can't take this kid seriously. I believe that this school is a battleground. The site of a feminist infiltration. This disparity in the number of men to women is a clear... I'm trying so hard. This disparity in the number of men to women is a clear sign of how far they have come. In case this Cold War turns hot, they will have superiority in numbers. Just another skirmish in the eternal war against the forces of the feminists. They're everywhere. In Japan, women outnumber men. It's not a 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time, man. Even in America, women are the majority by a hair. They're building up their numbers. In the past, the buildup of a military has always been the clearest sign of imminent war. Oh, it's so painful. Oh, they're real people like him. Oh, God. Japan is just the first step. Our economy is badass, and the country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. The perfect target. They are so cunning, as expected of women. Soon, the day will come when... Kenji's voice trails off ominously. That is why you can't trust them. They'll string you along and then kill you, just as they killed me. You will end up just like me. Oh, God. If you ever find yourself in a social situation where you're talking to someone like this, just leave. Just leave. Nothing he's saying is of any value. Oh, hell no. I can't stop myself from blurting it out. Hey! What the hell does that mean? You said it, not me. It's the best I can think of. So? You're not supposed to say anything like that! Damn, so rude. Where was I? Oh, yeah, vast feminist conspiracy. Stop it! Stop! I lost you way, way back there somewhere. Somewhere around feminist infiltration. Too hard to follow? It's cool. I have some graphs and stuff in my room. And puppets. You like puppets? No, puppets. You don't like puppets, okay. Graphs are still cool though, right? He speaks energetically, responding almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant on. This is too strange. I had him pegged as relatively normal, but it's clear that I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude? Just thinking about what it's like to be the last sane man in an insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean that's you? Well, that can't be, because I'm the last sane man in an insane world. That is my dream. You can't just steal a man's dream. What the hell? There can't be two last sane men. It would invalidate the whole last part, and that part is kind of important. There can only be one, like in that foreign movie where there could only be one. But there could only be one, and in the end, there is only one dude left, because that was the point. I have never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Anyway, if you wait here, I can get my graphs. I also have a list of the other dark and complex conspiracies that this school holds, as tangled as... Quick, finish my analogy for me. Be a pal. Oh boy, yeah, he's nuts. I'm going to bed now. It's extremely late. That doesn't sound like an analogy. But whatever. I like you. You seem like a cool dude. Oh god, that's the worst. When someone, like, is giving off, like, the most rancid vibes. Just absolute insane. And then they look at you and they're like, you're cool. And you're like, oh god. What about my personality made them think I was okay? Made them think I was like them. Oh god. I just remember voicing Kenji when our club went through this. Needed to say I had regrets when we reached this point. Oh yeah. I can imagine. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Later! Sorry for you, man. Yeah. He claps me on the back and then vanishes into his room so quickly and quietly, it's like he didn't even open the door, but instead walked right through it like a ghost. Yeah, I'm kind of getting that vibe of like, is this man real or did I hallucinate him? I don't know if I can fully digest what just happened, so I give up and just go to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into bed. It takes me some time to relax and get up so I can get started on homework. It's because the sheets are cool and comforting against my cheeks, and it feels good just lying there with my eyes closed. This school is like some kind of bizarre and surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. I just can't seem to fit in. What irony, one would think that fitting in a place that's made for people who are unfit for anywhere else would be easy. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off my empty walls. I guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more of a school and less of a hospital pretending it's a school than I thought it would be. If nothing else, the scenery is beautiful. I open one eye, seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desk. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. What does that mean, Hisao? Do 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 do. I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. Looking at the time, I'm thinking actually maybe it's better that we save here. And if you guys like this, be sure to like the video. But like, let me know. Because normally, for those of you who are new here, normally we've been playing Fire Emblem Engage. Oh cool, it tells you the music track. That's cute. Normally we've been playing Fire Emblem Engage. This was kind of just a one-off because I'm having a weird schedule at the moment. But if you guys really like this and you want to see more of it, be sure to let me know and we can absolutely bring it back. Because I would love to play through so much of this game with you guys. But yeah, I've double saved so we can switch on over here. Oh, there I am. Close out of that over here. Let me scooch over. I'm a little bit in the way there. But yeah, so that's Katawa Shoujo. At least the vibe of it. I've put the link to the game. It's totally free. It was made by indie developers. I think just like amateur indie developers. It's totally free down in the box below. It's a really great game. I love it. So many people who have played it before love it, as you can tell by the people who have just like shown up in our chat and been like, oh my god, I remember this. This was so good. It really is. It does have adult content. Be aware if you decide to play it yourself. But let me know if you want to see more, if you want to play more of it together. Have me voice the whole game for you. I'm having loads of fun. But next week, I'll be back to my Fire Emblem Engage, and I'll talk more about my schedule after that because things are going to get a little weird with some summer holidays, but it should all work out. But that's about all I have to say, so take your meds. I always say that, but this is a good stream to remind you, you know, if all of the reminders of heart medicine didn't get it in there for you, make sure you take your meds, drink your water, take out the chicken if someone told you to take it out, brush your teeth, and have a good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Alright, bye-bye!